And I reference a 36-3 run to close out that game. So Miami jumps out 14-0. Then Duke, to their credit, they go on a 28-3 run and get a lot of chunk plays during that time. And then, I watched that entire game and I'm locked in for what it could be some drama, some intrigue there. But Miami makes it so quick. It's like a like the Golden State Warriors in their heyday, could turn an 11-point deficit in the third quarter into like a 18-point lead. And you're like, I thought since this other team had an 11-point cushion, like it was going to be a great game and they would get pushed down to the limit. But no, it's going like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just simple math, stops and scores. And, in basketball where 3 is 50% more than a 2, and you had, 2 of the greatest shooters in all time, including the greatest shooter of all time and Steph Curry. And that's how leads would go. And the thing that was very underrated about the Warriors and their, death squad lineup, or their death lineup, as they called it, was that defense was like when LeBron James and Dwayne Wade were on the Heat together in like 10, 11, 12, and their whole half-court philosophy was Wade and Bron can get there as they rotate. Anywhere in the half court, one's going, and then all of a sudden a skip pass corner. And how was Bron over there? Like, that was the thing. And the Warriors lineup was like that. And so I transitioned that into the Miami Hurricanes defense. In the first half, yes, there were some issues, and that has continued to, propagate itself throughout the course of the season. You know how many touchdowns Miami's given up in the second half of the year, or second half of games this season? 7 total. Like, including one to start the third quarter this game. When it comes time, after halftime, that's lockdown city. And you keep getting these stops, and then you get these scores, and now all of a sudden it's just this tidal wave. And you saw some of the things when we played Florida State 2 weeks ago now. They said, hey, look, we're playing too high. You are not getting deeper than our deepest safety. We will take the body blows of 6.5 yards of carry. But what you're not going to do is hit us over the top, right? So if I go to just the scoring plays, you're not hitting us with a 34-yard touchdown on a scramble to Xavier Restrepo. You're not hitting us with a 49-yard touchdown on a switch route to Jacoby George. You're not hitting us with a 66-yard slant and go to Restrepo. You're not getting any of those. But we're going to take the crock potting, as it will, just body shot after body shot after body shot. Duke, to their credit, they said, look, we're going to play the game. We're going to play to win all the way through. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And they had the misdirection mismatches in the first half and in that first drive of the third quarter, literally to the point where, like, I tweeted out before, it might have been the first touchdown of the second half when they ran that under route and had a guy wide open as the number 2 on the wide side. By the way, nobody was guarding him. He went in straight in the end zone, and he's doing the ooh me, because nobody, like, go back and watch the film, nobody guarded him. And then they had the under route to the number 1 receiver, Moore, who had a couple great catches on that day. And then he's wide open, and he walks in. Before that play, I tweeted, I said, okay, so which misdirection play is Duke going to go to score? And I had multiple people respond to me after that one. And I'm like, okay. But after that, Miami finally figured it out in terms of getting aligned, in terms of switching, man-to-man stuff. It was just all of the confusion evaporated in a moment. So then, after that, if I go to the away team and I go to drives, following that touchdown, their drives went like this: 2 plays, interception, 10 plays for 68, and the field goal, which was their final points. Then 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out punt, 2 plays interception, 3 plays fumble, 6-and-out punt. Like, it was just lockdown after that. But then not only are you getting that, you're getting score after score after score after score from Miami. And yeah, that's how it flipped. So, I know, Cam Ward, 5 touchdowns, 400 yards, had another just terrible interception that you cannot have. And honestly, the only reason the one at Cal scored, the pick six, right? Because he did the same thing, rolling to his right, standing on the sideline, throwing back to his offensive left, just a 500 recess ball. Whoever got it, right? Cal, dude picked it. Nobody around him scores. The only reason that one against Duke didn't score to make it a 1-point game, there were 2 defenders, and the one who didn't intercept it tripped up the one who did as they landed. That's the only reason that play didn't score, right? And if it did, now we're having maybe a different conversation. But he did his dollar. We ran the ball enough when we needed to. But yeah, this team has really found a way in second halves to just take the air out of every team that they've played, which is really great to see. Cam Ward, again, just continuing to do what he does. Multiple receivers. When you throw for 400 yards, there's going to be, numbers for receivers everywhere, which is great. I just would love a little bit of the production from the second half on defense earlier in games. And I saw, multiple people, including my boy Roman from Orange World Boys. He said, basically we need to move the goalposts on Miami's defense and say, don't allow more than 30. Because we're scoring 48, 49 a game. Don't allow more than 30. We'll be all right. I would like to see that even one score down. I would like to say, if this defense can be between 24 to 28, I feel good in every game. But, it was, credit to Duke. They came out, they found something to take advantage of, and they did. Also, I don't love it that this is like the third time, I want to say, this year that Miami's been up 14-0 with the ball in a position to really put the game away early, and has failed to do so in all 3 instances. So that gives me a little pause. But again, when you have Cam Ward, and I tweeted it out. I didn't do the research. I was, working on something else. But, I said Cam Ward has had these dry spells over and over again this season. People are like, yo, he's number 1 in the country in passing and all these touchdowns. And I'm like, yeah. And imagine what it would be if you took out the 1 for 11 to close the first half. If you took out the 3 for 14 in the middle of the game, if you remove those, and he's at 68% completions with da-da-da-da, imagine what it could be, But I don't know. So that's a lot to say about that. But, hey, Duke came in, they played hard. I know Manny Diaz wanted to beat the hell out of Miami, especially, for being unceremoniously tossed out of the job like he was Jazz on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or something, just out the front door. But, the better team won. I think that they knew that and everything. So, we move on. The biggest thing for me, even more than the win, Jadis Richards probably going to be out for the year. After on his interception during a return, he got hit and went down. And immediately Brandon O'Doy, who sits next to me in the press box, goes, "Oh, that's a leg. That's a knee. Like he's hurt." And people are like, no, no. Like if you saw it live and you saw the replay, it's like, yeah. And then, he's, crying on the field, slamming his helmet and everything. And later they cut to, I don't know if they showed it on the broadcast, but we get the broadcast feed. And sometimes they put in like the in-house game or the in-house feed from the cameras in the stadium. And he was being wheeled on a cart underneath the stadium with the air cast on his leg. And Mario Cristobal, after the game and on Monday, said that, yeah, his injury is significant. He wouldn't give any details, but I think it's a fair guess that Jadis Richard has played his last snap this year. And I know that the secondary has been lacking a little bit, but as one of the starting defensive backs, why are you calling me? And that, bro, as one of the defensive backs, and again, had an interception in that game. He's had to step up into a larger role because Damari Brown, the more talented DB who started, in the opener and got hurt, is not around because he's hurt and everything. So, you lose Damari Brown for this part of the season, and then probably Jadis Richard from here, through the rest of the year. Gonna have to move some pieces around in the secondary, which, I'm happy to talk about. But long story short, Mish Powell to the slot, Welcome to the starting lineup, Zaquan Patterson, because buddy, that kid needs to play.
So you're saying that about Zaquan Patterson because now is the prime opportunity, obviously, with other guys getting more playing time because of the injury. But you're also saying that because he's playing well enough when given the opportunity that he should get more reps.
All of the above. Yeah, he
Okay.
has earned it. It's tougher for so says Lance Guidry for a safety than a corner, because safeties do have to do the interior checks for because you have the full scale view, so you're checking for everybody in the secondary and things like that. But I mean, even when he came in this game, form tackle after form tackle, like he put his shoulder in somebody's ribs on a 2-yard check down, and Buddy stayed down for a minute. But if you look at his high school film, this is a physical kid. He had multiple interceptions. He'll just go take the ball from you. Great tackler. And he's shown that even in the time he's had, playing and everything. Has one start on the year. I believe it was the second game of the year that Zaquan Patterson started. But yeah, it's time for him. And also, like, in a perfect world, I would love it if you flipped Zaquan Patterson and had Jaden Harris as a super sub kind of a thing. If somebody gets dinged or needs a breather at safety, but I would probably pair them together and then move Mish Powell down. As long as it is the same group of available players. Mario Cristobal did, when directly asked, say Damari Brown, there is a good chance they feel very good about him coming back for the last part of the year, i.e., after the second bye week, which is next week, by the way, guys. Because again, there's an extra week in the calendar this year. Everybody gets 2 bye weeks, so going towards the end of the regular season, the Wake Forest Senior Day, or at Syracuse, looking at those, there's a good chance they feel good that Damari Brown can come back, which would be a huge addition to the secondary. But as of right now, he's doing better, but not going to play this week. But that could be on the horizon. But that's also my commentary, me reading between the lines, because Mario Cristobal was not as clear as that when given the direct question, was that we'll see, type stuff.
Falconer TRX leading us off. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Following up with this one, Mark learned the golden rule: never bet the Canes. I posted a video after the game, and my opening line was, I still say I nailed that prediction against the spread. In practicality, I missed it. I technically missed it, but I think in principle, I still.
What was your?
I took Duke in 21 points.
Oh, and Miami covered.
Yeah.
22. I get it. Yeah, like in your heart, you believe that you covered, but that's a bad beat for. Yeah, I get it.
If you and I haven't bet on a game in like 7 or 8 years, but I'm very interested and intrigued by the point spreads and the odds and all that sort of thing, and pick the games and so forth. And there are certain ones that if you're being honest with yourself, you can say, yeah, I kind of lucked into that one. Like. Yeah. I thought this was going to happen, and it really didn't. But then there were 2 late touchdowns that meant nothing, and that covered me. And and it works the other way. There are other times that you're like, I saw Duke putting up a fight. I thought I would be safe. It looked like I was safe when you're up 11 and you're getting 21. But like I say, Miami's one of the few teams in the country that can just erase that quickly and have that kind of firepower to make that happen.